Hello, everyone, and welcome to Apex Racing TV for this Formula Drivers Challenge. This is the first round of 14 in this series, which is a championship for real-life Formula drivers who have had their seasons affected by the coronavirus outbreak. Welcome, everybody. My name's Andrew Woodhouse, alongside Alessandro Dalladone and Sam Kumo doing the cameras. We're here, Alessandro, at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, better known to most as Interlagos, and we've got a field of Dallara F3 cars out there today. We've got nearly 40 of them.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very big grid, so fun is guaranteed. We are looking so much forward for this championship, a long championship where obviously the most important thing will be have fun and provide some new, nice and good racing to you watching this series, but also for the drivers, consistency is gonna be key.
Yeah, and just one note as well, we do have his Formula drivers, and you will see very helpfully actually on your screens as it goes along, as you see Dennis Hauger there from FIA Formula 3. There's one wild card from the world of karting as well, Sam Koutert of the Netherlands, he won the Sim Racing Karters Championship earlier on this year. So yeah, he's in there amongst these lads who who are going into the world of Formula 3, Formula 4 and others this season, so it should be really good. Bart Horston we're looking at here as the qualifying has just started. Now the format for this one, Alessandro, is very interesting. 4 laps qualifying, so drivers do have quite a lot of time.
Yeah, with this car, for lap qualifying gives you the chance to have a few laps to get used to the cold tires, so people can maybe just set a few banker laps in the first few runs and then push towards the end, where usually you get the maximum out of the tires as long as you keep them very clean and not flat spot them.
Well, that's it. You've got to make sure you don't overheat the tyres in qualifying, because that is a cardinal sin indeed. And at the moment, after just the infancy of qualifying, the first 4 minutes, Pierre-Louis Chauvet of France, it has the fastest time so far, and 129.59. And Callum Williams, the American, is in second, and Victor Anderson of Sweden is in third. Victor Anderson running in the F4 US Championship, as you see there. Jack Crawford's in fifth, Francesco Pizzi in sixth, Consta Lapalainen in seventh, Quinton Lal eighth, Matthias Soler Obel in ninth, and Ritmo Miata in 10th. Of course, that is going to change as drivers will be on their fast laps, solo qualifying, so not all on track together, and probably a good decision by the league organisers, I would say, Alessandro, because it does allow the drivers to get out there and do their laps sort of unimpeded.
Yes, for sure, and there are a bit of less variables also to take account of because especially with the F3 car, damage and also a little contact can cause you to lose a lot of time, but mostly you don't have to play with draft and traffic, so for sure, especially on a track like Interlagos, which is very twisty and also very short, traffic could be very, very tough. So I guess this is the best option and also provides us with plenty of time to watch all drivers going through qualifying, setting their best laps as possible, because obviously qualifying is going to be super key in a short 30-minute race with this car, which is very, very sensible.
Yeah, I mean, this circuit you can overtake, so qualifying important, maybe not vital here at Interlagos, but Jack Crawford, as we're riding on board with him, in fact, in the Italian F4 and ADAC F4 Championship this year. He set the fastest lap so far, 129.11, just 0.003 of a second ahead of the Argentine Franco Colapinto. So great stuff by them, and Lorenzo Colombo of Italy is in third now, and Kai Aski of United Kingdom in fourth, and Ulisse De Pau of Belgium in fifth. But Victor Martins has just gone up onto provisional pole position. We'll just see how this lap from Crawford finishes as he's coming across the line now. Will he improve on his 129.11. Will he get into the 28s? And the answer is no, 129.3. And Colapinto actually goes up to the top now of the timing sheet with 128.92. So very, very close, Alessandro. Just 7/10 between the top 20 at the moment. Of course, all this equipment is identical. So it is, a lot of it is down to the driver here.
Yeah, for sure. This is the beauty of sim racing. Everybody running the same car on the same equipment, even though these drivers don't exactly always face each other. They are from different series all over the world. And this is also the beauty of sim racing, collecting all drivers from different championship racing in only one single event, long 14 races long, which is very, very exciting.
Now, it is part of the charm of it really is that nobody has an advantage in terms of mechanically how the car is put together. Of course, some drivers can change certain aspects on the cars themselves, but largely it is very, very comparable indeed. Lorenzo Ferrari, who has a terrific name for motor racing, let's be honest, is in 8th place at the moment. He's just gone there with a 129.18, just behind Bart Horston, the Australian, who is in there. We're looking at Ferrari now, Italian F4, and he's made a good start to things inside the top 10. I would say, Alessandro, if you can qualify in the top 10, is a terrific achievement given the fact that this is nearly a 40-car grid.
Yeah, indeed. Being the top 10 is a good position to start. It's so easy to slid from P10 to P30, to be fair, because there is not a lot of gap between all drivers. We have plenty of drivers very close, and almost the top 30 are all closed in 1 second. So just a single mistake in one corner can cause you to go from the top to the bottom of the standing.
And speaking of going to the top, Lorenzo Colombo, the Formula Renault Euro Cup driver, the Italian, goes to the top of the pile, 128.75, just half a tenth quicker than Franco Colapinto. So it looks like those guys are going to be having a battle throughout this one. Ulisses de Pau here in the British F3 driver. He's 3rd place at the moment, car number 55. You can see he's only 1.5 tenths off of pole position at this time. So let's see what he can do as he comes through Yunxiao and goes up the hill. And this is a tremendous run, this straightaway section all the way down to the Senna S. We're going to get some great slipstreaming in the race itself. And British F3, well, you know, they did drive, they did use these cars. I don't know if they used them. I believe they went out of circulation fairly recently, but that is a good lap again by Ulisses de Pau, and he stays in 3rd. He does improve, however, Alessandro, but only by a small amount, as Jonathan Hoggard comes across, and he goes 13th place. That's a good lap.
Yeah, very good laps for both drivers. Hogar making a big jump from P27 to P13. This is gonna be very, very good for his start. Now, most of the drivers have already completed their qualifying. We see now David Schumacher coming to the finish line, the German F3 driver, which does not improve and stays in P37.
So no improvement for Schumacher then, as he is near the rear of the field. We're hoping for a slightly better race there for the German. But Colombo at the moment, top of the pile. I don't know if anyone is actually out on the track at the moment setting a fast lap.
Yeah,
It looks like as Schumacher is experimenting with the damage model, it appears there. Here's Viscal. Ben Viscal, the FIA Formula 3 driver, he's going to come across, and he's finished his laps. I think he's just using the practice time to maybe get a further couple of laps of the Interlagos circuit in, which is permitted. It's just none of them will count for qualification, as we might as well go on board since he's the only car out there. We've got 4 minutes left of qualifying. Yeah, everyone. There's only 2 drivers who haven't completed 4 laps, or 3 drivers who haven't completed 4 laps. But of course, that is it's unlikely that they'll get anything better out of, even if they do come out again. That's Ferrari, Garfias, and Zagatenda. But yeah, Ben Pascal here going through Ferradura. This is a really interesting part of the circuit, isn't it, Alessandro? It's very technical, and certainly less is more around here, I would say. You don't want to overdrive the car through this section.
Yeah, it's gonna be very key because usually around Interlagos you want to have a car very very fast on the straight because they run from the coming left-hander which Bent Viscal is gonna approach now. As you can see here, there is a long straight and obviously slipstream is gonna be very very effective. We have also another layout where right here you could have a chicane, but obviously better go straight here because these cars will obviously reach a very good amount of speed and coming down the straight half a second behind, you can easily try to get around the guy in front of you if you can get a decent exit.
I did see yeah, I did see, I'm sure the other day, somebody using that chicane actually, which I think is the first time I've ever seen somebody using it.
Yeah, that
Um,
chicane is used mostly in the Brazilian stock car championship. It's called Interlagos Cafe, which is like a bus stop,
all right,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
like like a burger van at the side of the road.
yeah, it's just to spice things up, and you need to be careful because sometimes you don't expect to be there if you don't look closely to the information on the track, because usually it's always straight, but sometimes you find also in official events some chicanes there, but it's rarely used.
Well, I do applaud Ben Viscal actually for giving us some entertainment on the screen here, because it is preventing us having to fill on an empty track for a few minutes. So I do extend my thanks to him for that. And to be honest, he's done a good job in qualifying. 15th place. I think he's going to be pretty happy with that. Like I said, big field. I don't think there's any disgrace in being sort of 15th. In this situation, might as well go through the order, just to remind you, just with a couple of minutes left in qualifying, at least the top five. Um, Lorenzo Colombo will be on pole ahead of Franco Colapinto, Ulysses De Pau, Jack Crawford, and Dennis Hauger as well. Then the Norwegian driver in the top five. Bart Horsten will be sixth, Victor Martin seventh, Pierre-Louis Chauvet in eighth, Victor Anderson ninth, and Hugo De Wilde in 10th. And by the way, if any of this is going to be a regular series. We're going to be here over the next few weeks. Actually, there's going to be about 14 rounds, and I believe it is going to be Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, every for the next few weeks. So join us here. It'll be this time every day, just after 6 p.m. UK time. So please make us a regular fixture, and in order to do that, and in order to find out when the races are going to be and not miss one, please subscribe to the channel here on Apex Racing TV, and also click the notification bell as well, which that will send you a message, a nice little message when we go live, so you don't miss any of the action over the coming weeks in the Formula Drivers Challenge. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be a good test for the drivers, because it's going to be one 30-minute race pretty much every other day for the next 3 weeks. And it will be a good chance, Alessandro, for us to get to know the drivers, and for also the drivers to get to know each other out on the track as well.
Yeah, definitely. This is a nice showcase for everybody, for the teams, for the drivers that can start to get a bit more wide audience than the niche of the support series F3, F4 national series they're used to. But let's go through the grid.
Well, here is the grid. Lorenzo Colombo on pole, the Formula Renault Euro Cup driver, takes pole position ahead of Franco Colapinto. Ulysses De Pau in third, ahead of Jack Crawford, with Dennis Hauger in fifth and Bart Horsten in sixth. The two Frenchmen on row four, Victor Martins ahead of Pierre-Louis Chauvet, with Victor Anderson in ninth and Hugo De Wilde in 10th. Callum Williams, the American, ahead of the Brit Kai Askey on row 6. Jonathan Hoggard is 13th, ahead of Lorenzo Ferrari. Bent Viscal, who provided us the entertainment in qualifying, is 15th, ahead of Carter Williams. Quinlan Lau is 17th, ahead of Gregoire Saucet in 18th. Alexei Nesov in 19th. Sam Keitert in 20th. Ritmo Mayata is 21st, ahead of Oliver Petrovic, the Austrian. Konsta Lapalainen, the Finn, ahead of Matthias Soler Obel in 24th. Francesco Pizzi 25th. Josh Mason 26th. Rui Andrade of Angola in 27th, head of Blake Upton in 28th. Birgit Plauborg in 29th, head of Javier Joveras. Jose Garfias in 31st, and 32nd, Ivan Matveev. Belen Espinar in 33rd, Joey Aldez in 34th, Michael Kacic 35th, and Ivan Peklin, the Ukrainian, in 36th. David Schumacher 37th, and then Tom Beckhauser 38th. 39th, Matthias Zagateta, and at the back, Sebastian Engsner. Here we go. The lights are off, the race is on. At Interlagos, Lorenzo Colombo gets away well from pole position. In fact, he's made a brilliant start, miles ahead of Colapinto as they go into the first corner. De Pauw is in third, Crawford dropped behind Hauger, but it's all fairly well behaved. Oh, at the back, there's an incident at the rear of in the middle of the field, actually, and it's bunched everybody up through the centre S. Not quite sure who that was involved, but we will get a count at the end to see who's involved in that one. Rui Andrade looks like he's got some damage, but it's Colombo leading from Colapinto, then De Pauw, then Hauger, Crawford in fifth, and Alessandro, that was you feel like it was sort of inevitable that somebody made a mistake at the first corner.
Yeah, for sure. 40 car is not that easy. We saw Colombo locking the front, entering turn one, and on the back we saw halfway through the field somebody go very wide, and then there was some contact. But people, in the meantime, we see Ulysses
Colapinto slow.
Passing Colapinto, who had a little mistakes in the hairpins, and now we are gonna get the first round down.
He spins as well.
There might have been some net cut there. I saw a car going through. But the race is over for the Argentinian driver.
Yeah, big issues there for the man who qualified on the front row. It's a shame for him. As we try and take a bit of stock of this one. Then Colombo leads. Ulysses De Pauw then is in second. Hauger third. Crawford in fourth. And we're looking at Alexei Nesov, the Russian, in 8th position, the SMP F4 driver. And he's trying to chase down Carter Williams. And up the inside...
lost 2 positions in the first corner.
Oh, and that's...
And now he's fighting back.
Yeah, Colombo getting past Hauger. So good work to recover a place then. De Pauw leads, the Belgian driver. What a great start for him, up from third on the grid. And that is a dream, really, for anybody starting a single-seater race, starting in that position in third and seeing the 2 drivers ahead of you have some issues. But De Pauw, the British F3 driver, leading the way ahead of Colombo. Then it's Hauger, and then it's Crawford. Chauvet is up to 5th, and then he was 7th on the grid, and he's ahead of Kayaski and Carter Williams. Nesov is 8th, Lapalainen is 9th. Great start by Konsta Lapalainen, the Finn, from 23rd on the grid, and Jonathan Hoggard, the Brit, is in 10th.
Yeah, rather unfortunate start for the guys at the back. We had a few people entering pit road, like Jose Garfias and Josh Mason, which managed to get to pit lane and fix the damage, but plenty of people having to restart from the pits after turn 1 incident.
Well, as Marco Barbonera is in the chat, it means that I have to say a very warm ciao a tutti to the YouTube chat, and also the 126 people who are currently watching us at the moment. So hello everybody, thank you for joining us, thank you for making us a regular part of your sim racing viewing, and hopefully continue to do so over the next few weeks. And please leave comments in there, ask some questions if you want things to get answered during this 30 minutes. We will do our best to do so. But this is Kayaski then, and the French F4 driver, who's making a good start up from 12th place, Alessandro.
Yeah, definitely good start. We had some good movers towards the midfield that now are very, very close to the top 5, or looking to get into the top 5, like Carter Williams here, the British F4 driver, trying to stay in the draft and hopefully make some spot in the next few laps. The key of this race obviously is close contact with the guys in front, don't lose any draft, and mostly keep it clean, as most of the guys in front have done in the opening laps. A big shout out to Joy Alders, starting P34. Now he's back to P13.
Yeah, and
Biggest mover of the race.
that's where some racecraft comes into it, and maybe some good experience as well. But he's made a great start as the Dutchman coming up through the field into 13th place. It looks like then I can just about give you a list of retirements. I think it looks like Horston, De Vilde, Espinar, Petrovic, Pizzi, Zagatheta, Matveev, Schumacher, Andrade, Pecklin, Sossi, Esner, Anderson, Upton and Colapinto. I've come to grief, and look at Dennis Hauger being attacked by Colombo. Lorenzo Colombo then, he's trying very, very hard in this infield section, but to be fair, Alessandro, all they have to do through this infield section is usually not make a mistake, because the main straight is really the one, isn't it, to challenge.
Yeah, passing here is very dangerous, and you can lose a lot of time if you want to keep contending for the win. I think Auger, Colombo, and Crawford will have to work a little bit together and cooperate mostly in the midfield section of the track, and then try to gain as much time as possible on the POW on the straight, because if he pulls away, we have seen in qualifying the pace of most of the field is pretty much even. I don't think they will have the chance to catch him back.
Now, a few drivers have come and took the fast repairs. There is a fast repair feature here in place, so if you do damage the car, you can get another one. But of course, you're going to find yourself in an uphill struggle. And speaking of which, Konsta Lapalainen then has gone off at turn 1, and he's now under pressure from Bent Viscal. Let's have a look and see what happened to Lapalainen then.
Got a little help entering turn 1. I think he will have to go back to pit road and fix the front wing if he's having a bit of difficulties, especially here in the fast corners, which are more affected by downforce rather than the few hairpins we have in the middle section.
Yeah, he's currently in 13th place, Lapalainen. So I'll have to see if he can make any further progress with those issues that he has. And yeah, I've just seen another replay of it. Yeah, he just got a bit of a hand, didn't he? An unwanted one. Now,
yeah.
ahead of them is Bent Viscal and Xavier Loveras, and they're battling away. Viscal, who had those sneaky practice laps at the end of qualifying, has a big slipstream on Loveras, and he's going to see if he can pull out of the slipstream on the Spaniard and go through on the inside into the Senna S. Viscal is clear already, so that's the slipstream you can garner down that main straight. Very, very important, of course. Matthias Solero Bell is up into 16th place. He's just taken Sam Keiter, the karting champion. And they're having a battle still, I believe. Look, you can see in the background.
Yeah, very nice field. Battles everywhere in the field from the start to the end, hopefully, of this race. We see here some also heavy defending, hugging the inside, entering turn 3 wide for a moment, but they keep it clean.
That's a great little scrap there. Callum Williams, the American, who's in the back of this group. Ahead of him is Marco Kacic of Canada, and then Jose Garfias of Mexico. And we'll see. And slight wing damage to Kacic's car. I think that might be just slowing him down a little bit in the straight line as they go very wide at the Descida del Lago. And there's already a spun car out there. I think it was a back marker. I'm not entirely sure though.
It was someone already.
Oh, it was Esner. Yeah, Esner was off, and then tried to go around the outside, and there's a bit of contact there between Williams and Garfias. Oh, and they crash again. Oh, as a result, they end up hitting each other at the hairpin, and that's damage to the to both cars. Garfias is surely going to have to come down the pit lane now.
Rather unfortunate. Yeah, they almost got away with that. They had a very nice battle all lap long and a little small contact. And then once you touch the grass with this new tire model, there's no way you can even try to stop the car. The car just floats and you have
I
to
will
go there.
say though that Williams was very. I mean, it's very unlikely you're going to get that move done around the outside of Ferradura. But hey, it didn't work that time. It might work next time. Carter Williams are on board with here. American driver, British Formula 4 is what he competes in. And he's chasing down Alexei Nesov of Russia. So this will be a decent battle, I'm sure, for 6th position. Williams is right in the slipstream. He takes a lot of the outside curve into Yunxiao to try and get the run up the hill. And he's in prime position to get the toe. Let's see what the slipstream's like in this Dallara F3 car.
Yeah, the slipstream, depending obviously on the setups, can be very, very strong. Seems like Williams didn't gain so much time on Nesov here on the main stretch, but you have to remember that after the S's here, we have another long straight, but unfortunately for this time at least, Williams couldn't get a good exit to try to contend. But I was thinking about having more effect with slipstream, to be fair, Andrew.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same. I do think that Nesov did a very good center S and turn 2 to pull away from Williams through that section. Williams needs to get right under the rear wing, really, if he's going to challenge for this one. Look at the battle for the lead now, though. De Pauw is 3/4 of a second ahead of Dennis Hauger, and then it's Lorenzo Colombo. But Colombo is right there with him. And Jack Crawford in 4th, you cannot count him out. So you've got 2 of the Red Bull branded cars, and the fastest lap went to Dennis Hauger, yeah. And that closed him into within 0.8 of a second. Can he forge into that lead of De Pauw? Can he just claw back half a second needed for him to be able to challenge? I don't know, but it might be that he's got to look in his mirrors more than anything else, because Lorenzo Colombo has got a great run. He sets the fastest lap, and in the process, Alessandro, he goes up into 2nd position.
Excellent move by the Italian driver. Now he will try to get even closer to this depot, but he will have to defend the comeback from the 6th car of Auger, which seems like, apart from just kissing his bumper, stay in line and try to work together in this lap, closing back the gap.
Yeah, I must admit the Red Bull livery does look fantastic on most cars, but on this F3 car it does looks excellent. And Colombo then, he's trying very, very hard to stay ahead, having worked really well for that position. It helped De Pauw a little bit, not too much, just by a couple of tenths really, extending his advantage. The Belgians trying to plough ahead. Really, Alessandro, in this situation, you've really got to be looking in front. You've really got to concentrate on just hitting your braking points, just driving the best lap you can, because these guys, they might still battle and you might get away.
Yeah, for sure. The Pope can easily still do his lines without even having to worry about the people behind, as long as he keeps a little bit of margin to 10th and is not worried by Colombo or whoever is on his back. He can try to profit from any battle which could be happening behind. As long as Colombo, Hauger, and Crawford work together, as they seem to do now, this is gonna be tough, but you never know.
Yeah, and yeah, I feel like they can work together, but do they want to? And we've seen that in some races this week where really drivers could potentially have caught the leader if they'd have worked together, but got caught up in their own battles, and really that was the issue there. All the drivers up to Birgit Plauborg have been lapped. So Bart Horston in 21st place on down have been lapped, or they're out of the race. I think the only ones who look like they might be truly out of the race are Keitert, Matveev, Zagazeta, Espinart, Schumacher, and Colapinto.
Yeah, in the meantime, we see always this four-way battle for the lead with Jack Crawford, Italian F4, and Adak F4 driver closing the group as he's been doing for the last few laps. I think Jack Crawford is just trying to save his equipment, making sure not to get caught up in any incident, even though the drivers are behaving very good so far this race. And we are just now crossing the line for the start of lap 12 and halfway through. So maybe in a few minutes we'll see some more lap 11, yes, sorry, and we will see some more passing and fighting up front.
There might be some here actually between Hauger and Crawford. I don't know how closely they'll be working together. I think it appears that Hauger is just going to let Crawford through and see, because the American seems to have the pace at this stage. For those wondering what ADAC is, it's the German governing body of motor racing. So, and Colombo right with DePau then, and so it looks like the Belgians had a few issues on this lap, maybe a couple of mistakes, and that's allowed. And that's the thing with these cars, Alessandro, is if you make a mistake in these, they're all about momentum. So it's not something quickly sort of remedied by the power of the car, is it? You really need to carry the speed.
Yeah, the Lara has a big engine, to be fair, but the aerodynamics is so high. You have so much downforce that you have to carry a lot of speed, like you do in less aerodynamic car like the Skippy. But it's even worse when you can't do that. So it's key. Meantime, we see the huge run that Colombo has moving
Oh
towards
yeah.
the inside, and I think if he gets his brake spots correctly, and he does, he will slip back to first place. He has
Now
been having some issues at turn one
he's
so
gone.
far, but
Well, he has gone in a bit deep. I wonder if DePau might be able to take advantage of this one, or whether he wants to go for a move at this point to try and regain, sorry, his lead. But not on this occasion. Crawford got let by Hauger, and then it doesn't seem like he's got massive pace to try and get to the front. But we'll see what he can do with a lap with nobody directly in front of him. Lap traffic now. Birgit Plauborg in front of Colombo.
yeah, trying to
Oh, and
stay on the
oh, and
inside,
oh, this is problems.
bit dangerous. But hopefully we'll move out of the way and let the four drivers go through. This
Yeah,
was a
it was
bit.
quite it was quite a hairy moment there, really, um, for for those drivers, and yeah, it was a little bit.
Colombo and
It's always a little
DePaul,
bit tight and tense through that section when things like that are going on.
Colombo and DePaul, for sure, they didn't want to have him in front. They lost a little bit of time, and I think they are gonna try to check out of the two Red Bulls there from Hauger and Crawford, which are swapping positions here and there, trying to get as much as possible closer to the top two. I don't know if they are swap drafting, but with some luck, they might be able to catch up to the Belgian driver.
I'm not fully certain that it's really going to work. I'll be honest, because what's happening is that they're going into the Cida del Lago, their turn 4, and one of them's having to go in. In fact, both of them are probably having to go into the corner slightly slower than they would ordinarily. And on the timing screen, well, although Crawford's just caught in, so I wonder if DePaul might have had a little bit of a problem, because he is. Yeah, he's still 8 tenths in front. We're looking at Ritmo Miyata then, the Japanese driver who drives Super Formula Lights in Japan. And the Super Formula, of course, the main series is probably along with IndyCar, probably the closest you get to F1 without actually being in F1.
Yeah, sure. In the Asian market, I guess Asian side, for sure, the Super Formula is the biggest open wheel category, and as
Oh,
IndyCar
it's
is
not
for the
going to help.
US.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've all had that situation. Anyone who's been sim racing has had that situation where a car that you're battling side by side with just disappears and then reappears again. It's very, very unnerving. Miata's done a great job to try to make something of that one. He's got Ben Pascal just behind actually as well. And now Miata, which way is he going to go? But there's a bit of maybe slight weaving about going on there, but Miata on the outside of Williams. Oh, and he's been hit by Viscal.
yeah, I feel like there was some net code there. That's unfortunately the distance, having people throughout all the globe. Sometimes the connection having
Oh,
some
he's lost it.
issue, big wiggle there
I think,
for
I
Williams.
think, I think Williams lost that on his own. We're going to have a look again because I don't like to say that unless I know. But I wonder if we can just see, was he losing the car? I think he was. He was losing the
Yeah,
car before Viscal got there, and Viscal, I don't think in the end made any contact, but as you can see by the rear wing, it's not attached securely anymore, so you can't drive that one around. So Williams in the pits, and that will promote Lorenzo Ferrari into the top 10. In 10th, Matthias Soler is up to 12th from 24th on the grid. Joey Alders continues the good form, up from 34th to 15th. Michael Kacic up from 35th to 17th as well. So great work. Yeah, just to
Andrew.
reiterate what it says in the YouTube chat there, if people can't see that, for new viewers, the blinking car, it indicates the problem really with the internet connection of the driver. So it's not usually anything to do with the software, the simulation, or the race organizers or anything like that. It's usually just like a bad moment in an internet connection. Sorry, Alessandro.
Andrew, you were right. Colombo and DePau have already checked out from the two following.
Yeah, I mean,
The,
it looked likely. Oh, look at that big slide. That was a great slide by Colombo as he goes through the traffic. DePau is losing out in all these back markers. Alessandro, it really is.
yeah, sure, he is struggling a little bit, but hopefully now with some slipstream and some help by Garfias, the Mexican drivers, will be catching up to Colombo on the straights. But this is gonna set a nice battle for. Meantime, the Mexican driver very aggressive on the brakes, but the gentleman leaves the pow back
It,
to the.
it's very difficult when you're being lapped in any race to know really how to deal with it and how best to do it. I guess it's one of the things that just mostly comes with experience. But I mean, I know I was doing the Nürburgring 24 hours last week, and in the slowest class, so I was being overtaken by people sort of a lot. And sometimes you get it right. You may lose no time. You may lose just a tenth or two. Sometimes you lose 3 or 4 seconds because it just is that kind of thing. And especially on the infield section around Interlagos, you can get
Yeah,
held up massively, can't you, if you don't do it correctly?
I totally agree with. And obviously, in these shorter races, yeah, you don't tend to give so much, especially if you are still fighting for positions. Uh, but you always have also to understand the point of where you are in the standing. If you are fighting for P20, obviously you have to give some place to the people, like in this case, the Pau or Hauger or Crawford that we are looking now. They are fighting for over a win in the podium. But everything went smoothly, and you will see throughout all the championship how people will have to get to give a lot to get good results, consistent results throughout the entire championship.
you know, we all, just like in the real world, we always talk about playing the long game on Apex Racing TV, and drivers certainly need to do that with you know, over a dozen rounds in this championship. Marko Kacic, he'll be very, very happy indeed. You know, his meeting's gone up to 16th place from 35th on the grid. We're riding on board with Josh Mason, and Mason has gained 9 places and actually lapping almost on the leader's pace at the moment. So yeah, it seems to be coming to Josh quite nicely. And the British driver closing in on Kacic, who's behind Sebastian Esther then, who is a lap down.
Yeah, there might be some drivers that are more comfortable with the setups with worn tires, even though the F3 doesn't have a lot of tire fall-off. But it's just a better feel.
What's going on here? Because
yeah, like an aggressive move.
Oh, there we go. Esner decides in the end that he's not going to make life a misery for Kacic. But Mason, he's got an advantage from that, Alessandro. He's closing in.
Yeah, Mason is showing himself in the mirrors and tries to send it on the inside.
Lovely.
And lovely pass there. Well done to Josh Mason in the 22 car, that now is gonna try to open up a little bit of gap in the infield section so that he won't be fought back at the end of this lap.
Yeah, and that's probably the cleanest move of the day, really, by Josh Mason.
Yeah, that's good job. Very well done move. He showed himself in the mirror, and then he took the inside, and at the same time left plenty of space to his competitor.
Yeah, and he just made it work in that one. We've still got quite a lot of drivers still running, actually. The vast majority, in fact, are still running. I think we've still got 34 drivers out there from the 39 who started. Then the only retirements we've got Pecklin, Sagaceta, Espinart, Schumacher and Colapinto. Colapinto especially is going to be annoyed with this one because he qualified in the front row, but Lorenzo Colombo now in the lead by 1.5 seconds. He only has, well, probably 3 more laps of this Interlagos circuit in order to take the win.
Yeah, 3 laps if he's consistent.
All that traffic he's got, though, having said that.
But yeah, I wanted to say that it's not over because lap cars can win or lose the race for the Italian driver, because even though he is consistently a little bit faster than the FAU, lap cars can slow you down if you catch them in the wrong place a lot. So also the guys behind him, they do not need to give up because anything can happen in these 3 laps.
You've also got to keep your concentration and focus on your own driving, because it's not just the traffic that can scupper your chances. You've got to negotiate this circuit, which is really I think one of the best in the world. It's hosted the Brazilian Grand Prix for many years in different shapes and sizes of circuit layout and things like that. But this is the most current iteration, as it were. The only real change, I think, between this layout and the one of 2020 is the pit in and pit out, which are just slightly different in appearance, but not really in function. As Colombo still going very, very well, and he's pulled out 3 more tenths on that lap, Alessandro. He's really flying now.
Yeah, I was watching the live timing too, and he's really, really flying. He made a little mistake at the start, but thankfully he didn't lose too many positions, so he fought back and did a very good job.
Look at this.
But you see here almost a 3 wide action in front of him, so he will definitely not be happy about that. But
because he needs to go as fast as possible, because his competition is not far behind him. 1.6 seconds might seem a lot, but not when you're in traffic. but he also needs to be. If he had the choice, he would rather not get involved in this, but he's having to really.
Yeah, there's no way you can just stay at the back and wait for the straight. You have to send it over
No,
here. Yeah, like he did. I would have done completely the same.
I
And
wouldn't have done that. I'm not brave enough to have done that there.
if you don't dare, you don't succeed.
That is
And
true.
as Colombo is getting the white flag this time by, I guess, for the last lap of the race.
Yeah, it will be the final lap then, this one. Lap 21. And it's all getting very congested in the center S. And what it does mean, and as Hauger in third, we're looking at him there. Dennis has set the fastest lap of the race on lap 20, which shows a lot about his driving, and it shows that the cars are getting nice and light then with fuel going past the lap traffic of Anderson. And still 3 drivers fighting over second place, really. Colombo 1.1 seconds in front. He still is in the driver's seat, literally and figuratively then, going on to the final half of the final lap. So DePau, he needs to just stay ahead of these 2 Red Bull cars.
Do you want to lead coming on to the straight, Andrew? Or do you want to be second to get a nice slipstream?
From what I've seen, I'd probably say be in front. And that's what Hauger is trying to do. And that was where Hamilton and Albon clashed last year as well, that very corner. And DePau now trying to defend the inside of Yun Xiao. And this is where his momentum gets stifled. Lorenzo Colombo, he's going to come through. And the Italian driver who started on pole position, he's going to come through here at Interlagos. And he's going to win round 1 of the Formula Drivers Challenge. What's going on behind? Oh, big, huge crash with the Red Bull cars. And DePau gets second. They have crossed the line. Hauger gets there ahead of Crawford, and through the debris, the rest of them are finishing as well.
Yeah, not the finish we wanted to see, but they both finished in the same order. Hauger in front of
They crossed the
Crawford,
line.
and both crossed the line, so like nothing happened.
Bizarrely, they didn't lose any positions or anything, really.
Yeah, totally
Wow.
unscraped. Like nothing happened.
Crawford got 4th in the end. Kayaski, great drive. I think that's probably, I'd say him and Nesov were very close for what I'd probably consider to be drive of the race. And Jonathan Hoggard from 13th on the grid to 7th is also very, very good.
The Japanese driver Ritmo Miyata moved from P21 to P9 in the top 10. And also Matthias Soler Robel, the Colombian driver, who finished 13th. Great comeback from P24.
Joey Alders made got 16th place in the end from 34th on the grid, so a brilliant performance by Alders. And as everyone's just it's probably the last man over the line, we should be able to see the on the screen in just a moment's time. But that was a great first round in this Formula Drivers Challenge. Interlagos once again provided some terrific single-seater action, and it was Lorenzo Colombo who gets the top step of the podium. He gets the trophy, he wins the race, he gets the points, and he gets the bubbly as well on the top step of the podium. Ulysses Depau in second place. I think he'll still be fairly happy with that from third on the grid. Dennis Hauger started 5th, finished 3rd. Jack Crawford in 4th. Solid race for him. And Kayaski in 5th with a great job getting through the top 10, really. Alexei Nesov in 6th. Jonathan Hoggard 7th. Bent Viscal in 8th. That was a good run by the Dutchman as well, up 7. Ritmo Miata finished in 9th. And Lorenzo Ferrari rounding out the top 10. Sam Keiter, the karting champion from the SRKC series, he finished in 11th place ahead of Quinlan Lal, Matthias Soler Obel, Consta Lapalainen, Joey Alders was 15th, and Josh Mason was 16th. They were the last cars on the lead lap. And then the cars 1 lap down or more, you can see on the screen Javier Loveras, Marco Kacic in 18th, And then 19th place was Jose Garfias, Carter Williams in 20th, Bart Horsten 21st, and then Birgit Plowbog, Ugo de Vilde, Oliver Petrovic, Gregoire Sosi, Victor Anderson 26th, and Callum Williams 27th, Rui Andrade in 28th, Blake Upton 29th, 30th Tom Beckhauser, and 31st was Francesco Pizzi, and Sebastian Esner 32nd, Ivan Matveyev 33rd, and 34th for Pierre-Louis Chauvet, who started actually on row 4, made up into the top 5 before suffering some issues. Ivan Peklin, the Ukrainian, didn't really get that far, neither did Matthias Sagazeta, Belen Espinar, David Schumacher, and Franco Colapinto. Well, he barely got to the first corner, did Colapinto, so he'll be looking to make amends for the next round. And I am just going to quickly, because I'm well prepared as usual, I'm just going to go and find when round 2 of the season will be, and that will be on the 4th. That will be on Monday then at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Alessandro, before we speak to any of the drivers, then, what did you make of that first race? Did you enjoy it? I certainly did.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It was a very nice race, a cracking race. I bet that Barrichello's Gramma, which is known for living very, very close to the track, and you should be able to see the big housing where she lives, also here in the background. She will be very. She had a lovely evening watching 40 nice F3 cars wandering around her home track.
And so did we as well. And I'm sure that the funny thing, and a slightly disappointing thing, we didn't have any Brazilian drivers in the field as well. It's important as well that today we remember Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger as well. Senna died 26 years ago yesterday, Ratzenberger the day before, and we do remember them, and we still think about them all the time. Right, so let's see who's going to be the victim. Who finished the highest up? I want to try and get the person who finished the highest. Alexei is probably going to be. I would say Alexei will be the one. So let's see if we've got him now in the commentary box. Alexei Nesov is in the commentary box here from Russia. Alexei, can you hear us first of all?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. Well, that's a good start. Hey, well
definitely.
Well done, Alexei. Anyway, 19th on the grid, through to 6th. You must have had a lot of fun out there. It looked like the first lap or two was very intense.
Yeah, definitely. I messed up with the qualifying and didn't show my pace, but still could manage not to crash in the first lap. That was the main goal for me, and so.
And that's a good place to start, isn't it? But I know what you're saying. But here it's very difficult, isn't it? Because it gets very tight in turn 1.
Yeah, sure.
How did you find managing the tires throughout the race?
To be honest, I a bit overheated them, and in the end I was struggling with them, and couldn't catch Kai in front. But still, 6th place is pretty good start of the championship. Still lots round to go, and I will prepare and hope get some podiums.
Yeah, we said getting points in the first race is probably the most important thing that you could do, and getting 6th place I think is a good foundation. And we go to Spa on Monday. How are you feeling about that one?
I didn't try actually, but need to prepare. So I was trying only on GT, was preparing for 6-hour rest today. But still, plenty of work to do. We'll practice a lot and hope to get my pace to the leaders.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box, and hopefully we'll speak to you maybe after that podium next week.
Yeah, I hope so.
Hopefully. Take care, mate. Alexei Nesov there, finishing a very strong 6th. Alessandro, who do you want to speak to?
Yeah, we're trying to see who we can bring up to. I think Josh Mason could be the next driver coming up. The driver finished P15 in today's race after starting in P26, so 16th, and started P26. Josh, can you hear us?
Yep.
All right, mate. What did you get from this race? A nice recovery drive.
Yeah, nice recovery drive. I knew that I just had to go back out because I knew that with a grid this big, there are going to be some accidents. So I just knew that I just to keep on driving, keep it clean, and get as far as up as good as I can.
Especially lap 1, we saw in the midfield being very, very tough. Turn 1 has been a trouble spot for plenty of drivers throughout the whole race. Did you get unscraped out of the turn 1 incident? Or did you get any damage?
I got a little bit of front wing damage. I saw there was an incident right in front of me, so I was trying to avoid it. Then somebody hit me on my rear, so made me spin. They had a bit of front wing damage. But no, I think what happened there was that all of us were all thinking that lap 1 was the race. So everyone went full send in turn 1, and I didn't come out good out of it. But it's racing, so I just had to focus on Spa on Monday.
Yeah, for sure. Totally different track. Do you like Spa? Have you ever been there racing in real life?
Yes, I raced at Spa in British F3 last year. I got P2. So hopefully I can translate that result in real life into iRacing.
Yeah, sure. I wish you the best of luck for Monday race, and thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Yeah, Josh Mason there getting 17th in the end from 26th on the grid. I'm sure he will build on that for the next one then.
I see. I think it's Lorenzo Colombo up in the waiting area 1.
Oh, Lolo.
Yes.
We'll see if that is the case. Are we joined with Lorenzo Colombo now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, Lorenzo. Well,
Hi guys. Hi guys.
hello, mate. Congratulations. Well, pole position, race win. It wasn't quite as easy as that, though, was it?
Oh, actually, I didn't even practice that much, but yeah, I had immediately the pace. I mean, I like so much the track Interlagos, and the car is for me is really good on the game. And yeah, basically, it's. I mean, I didn't expect even to have that pace because the guys were actually really quick, especially from P1 to P5. The top 5 guys had a really good pace. And yeah, during the race, especially, was really crazy. I mean, I enjoyed a lot because. Basically, my first 3 laps were not the best. I mean, cold tires, it's hard to manage on the game, and I still need to know how to find a little bit better pace. But yeah, then I had the pace to catch up the guys in front. Especially Ulis was really quick. He pulled away. Yeah, but then I mean, I found a little bit more in the middle of the race, and then till the end, I could also overtake him. And yeah, I managed also to pull away a little bit to get him out of the draft, out of the slipstream, and that was, in the end, was quite easy because he was not able to overtake me back.
Well, one of the big things in that race was the lapped cars, and
yeah, especially there were.
You seem to gain quite a lot in the traffic.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I was asking on the channels to blue flag just to let the people know that I was a lap ahead. So basically, all the people like react really well. So I would like to congrats with also the lapper cars, because in this game the lapper cars are really a good important thing. If you manage to get fast in the traffic, which normally in the real life you never have that traffic, because yeah, it's quite it's not really often that people crash it that much. So yeah, in the end I needed to be focused in traffic, and I was thinking basically don't lose any time. Yeah, in the end I managed well.
That's actually a good point, because yeah, normally in your guys' races, I guess it's
Yeah.
If there's a crash at the start, you usually, I guess most people are going to be out, so they're not going to be coming back out a lap down, are they? Really, a lot of them are just going to retire, I guess, on a situation like that.
Yeah, especially, I mean, the cool thing is that the more you drive on the game, it's the best feeling. I think the more you drive, the more you enjoy. But especially, yeah, if you crash, you're a little bit upset, and yeah, you can decide also to retire. But yeah, I think also driving with too many cars, it's a little bit tricky. But yeah, it's still fine for also training for real life, so it's pretty enjoyable.
Well, I think a lot of drivers do benefit from from racing in the big grids, because it does sharpen your your reflexes and your senses, I guess, having to go around that. I mean, I've driven in fields of 60 cars and things like that on iRacing, and you certainly got to look out. But hey, look, first and foremost, well done, and congratulations for that. We look forward to seeing you on Monday at Spa.
Yeah, exactly. Spa is a really nice track. It's gonna be even funnier with the slipstream, so we will watch a lot of overtakes moves. So I can't wait to do it. I'm really happy and excited.
I'm hoping the first lap's clean. Well done, Lorenzo.
Yeah, I hope so too. But yeah, it's gonna be difficult because the long straight in Spa is massively crazy, especially with the F3 car. The slipstream is mega.
Well, yeah, indeed. Thanks very much for joining us. Anyway, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you. I'm just checking. Sam, how much time do we have left? I'm just checking. Do we have time for another? Yeah, do we have time for another one? Yeah. We'll try and get Carter Williams, if we can, I think, into the commentary box, and we'll see if Alessandro has found him.
Yes, Carter, can you copy?
Yes, I can.
All right. Thanks for joining us. You started P16 today and slid back to P20. How was your race?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. We made it up to P6 on the start. Kind of missed all the mayhem, which was good. Running P7 for most of the race till I like lap 16, and then just was racing hard and had a bit of a mistake. Had to go back to the pits, and I think we ended up P20 in the end. But yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah, we were really loving that battle till you had that little mistake. But obviously, if you want to pass people, you have to be also a bit of aggressive, you know. So these things can happen. Do you think is a bit more complicated to get like spatial awareness and the feeling on iRacing, on the simulation, compared to the proper F4 as you drive or F3 cars?
Right. Yeah, it is a bit more. It is a bit different. You can't really feel the car, the tires, as much as you can in real life. So it is a bit more difficult, but everybody's in the same boat, so we just have to be better. But yeah, Interlagos, during testing, I felt pretty good here, but I think the next couple of rounds I feel a bit better, like with Spa and Barcelona. So yeah, just looking forward to getting on there. But yeah, I mean, qualifying on these are everybody's on the same setup, same tires, same car, same conditions, so it's everybody's super close. So yeah, you just have to really nail a lap, qualify up front, and stay out of the carnage.
Yeah, especially qualifying with this tire model and tires coming up to temperature. I bet it's not really easy to get the best time out of the 4 laps.
No, it's not, and really, it's the last couple laps that the tires on the game really come up to temperature, and you can really feel the car. It's one thing that threw me off a bit. I was practicing with a bit more grip in the track, and going into qualifying, the car felt like it had a massive amount of understeer. So just getting used to that really through practice and qualifying, and then into the race. So that kind of threw me out a bit. So I think for Spa, I'll practice on a no grip track, and hopefully it'll go back.
Well, indeed. We are looking forward for Spa, and hopefully you will have another solid race and a top 10 coming up on Monday. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Carter Williams, who will be hoping for, like you say, a better run in Belgium, right? I think, well, that's probably going to do it here for today. Thank you, everybody, for watching us here today on YouTube. We've really enjoyed bringing you the action from the Formula Drivers Challenge. And as this series goes along, I'm sure it will get even better. As mentioned a few times, the series continues on Monday at Spa-Francorchamps. And then on the 6th of May, we go to Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona. Then we go to Circuit of the Americas on the 8th. On the 9th is Brands Hatch. On the 11th is Phillip Island. Then something a little bit different, the Charlotte Motor Speedway on the 13th of May. And on the 15th, we head Far East and Suzuka, and before going to the Nürburgring on the 16th, Imola on the 18th, Silverstone on the 20th. The 21st will be Zandvoort, 23rd will be Sebring, and the series will finish at one of my personal favourites anyway, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. So there's so much to come here on Apex Racing TV, and yeah, I'm sure we're going to enjoy it all massively. So my thanks to Sam Kumo for the cameras, to Alessandro Dalladonna for doing the commentary with me. Alessandro, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Yeah, for me the same. Obviously, looking forward to come back commenting on this very, very exciting series.
Well, I've been Andrew Woodhouse. This has been Apex Racing TV, and join us again on Monday. We'll see you soon.